Welcome. You are entering a space where consciousness expands and reality responds directly to your signal. Today we are decoding quantum manifestation at its core, revealing precise methods to rewire neural circuits, elevate emotional frequency, and align your energy field with outcomes you intend to create. Every principle shared here activates measurable shifts in perception, physiology, and possibility, allowing you to step beyond habitual patterns into deliberate creation. As you receive this transmission, notice the body, mind, and energy field synchronizing, preparing to embody clarity, coherence, and power. Subscribe now to anchor yourself in this next level of growth, because each insight here is a direct upgrade to your system, a recalibration of potential into action. In this session, you will engage 10 transformative areas designed to restructure thought, optimize biology, and magnetize your intentions, providing a complete framework to consciously design reality and manifest with certainty. Your evolution begins with attention. Welcome, my friend, to this transmission titled Quantum Manifestation Explained. Understand this to shift reality. And today we enter into Shift 1, where the journey begins not in abstract ideas but in the coherence of your own brain through focused breathing and clear intention. When people hear the word manifestation, they often imagine some vague wishful thinking. But what I am sharing with you comes directly from the fields of neuroscience, quantum physics, and energy medicine. It is precise, it is measurable, and it is profoundly transformative when lived. Albert Einstein reminded us that everything is energy and that's all there is to it. And this is where we start, because your brain is not just a storage of thoughts. It is an electromagnetic transmitter and receiver, constantly sending out signals that interact with the quantum field. What I have found through years of guiding people is that without brain coherence, without your mind aligned, clear, and focused, your energy remains scattered, and the field cannot organize around you in the way you truly desire. So Shift 1 is the foundation, the portal into higher creation, and it begins with your breath. Focused breathing is not just relaxation, it is the key to synchronizing your nervous system, calming the stress response, and opening access to higher brain states. Neuroscience confirms that slow, intentional breathing regulates the autonomic nervous system, shifting you out of survival mode and into a state of balance where higher-order thinking becomes possible. When you breathe with focus, you send a signal to your body that it is safe, and when the body feels safe, energy is freed from stress chemistry and redirected into growth, repair, and creation. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in epigenetics, teaches us that a person's beliefs and perceptions can rewrite the expression of their genes. Breath is the gateway into this rewriting because it creates the physiological environment where new beliefs can actually land and take root. When you consciously slow your breath, elongating your inhale and your exhale, you are teaching your brain to generate coherence. And coherence is the language the quantum field responds to. Now let us bring in the second part, intention. Focused breathing without intention is relaxation, but focused breathing with intention becomes manifestation. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Intention is frequency. The thoughts you consistently hold are patterns of vibration in the brain, and when charged with elevated emotion, they become signals powerful enough to reorganize matter. Joe Dispenza, who has studied this deeply, explains that where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And I would add this truth from my own work: where you place your energy repeatedly is what solidifies into your lived reality. Intention is not simply wishing, it is the act of directing the electromagnetic field of your brain and heart toward a chosen possibility, holding it steady, and allowing the field of infinite potential to collapse into form around it. What happens in the brain when you combine focused breathing and clear intention is extraordinary. Coherence emerges between the hemispheres of your brain, the oscillations of neural activity begin to synchronize, and your body receives the command that a new state is ready. In this moment, your inner signal changes, and the quantum field cannot help but respond to that change. Carl Jung expressed it perfectly: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Focused breathing makes the unconscious patterns visible by slowing down the noise, and intention installs the conscious choice that rewires the brain. Over time, new neural pathways form, old survival-driven programs lose their charge, and your biology literally upgrades to match the frequency of your chosen reality. This is not theory. This is neuroplasticity. This is measurable, and it is happening every time you align breath and intention with precision. So how do we embody Shift 1 right now? Let us do it together in real time. Close your eyes, if you are able, and take a slow, deep inhale through your nose for a count of 5. Hold gently for a moment at the top. Then exhale through the mouth for a count of 5. As you breathe, place your awareness in the center of your brain, the space behind your forehead, and simply feel the energy there. Now choose one clear intention, not a scattered desire, but a precise signal. Perhaps it is peace. Perhaps it is clarity. Perhaps it is abundance. State it silently as if it is already real. As you inhale, feel this intention filling your mind with coherence. As you exhale, feel it broadcasting out through your body and into the field around you. Continue for several cycles, letting breath and intention merge into one signal. What you are doing right now is not imagination. You are entraining your nervous system. You are programming your electromagnetic field, and you are shifting reality from within. The key, my friend, is repetition and presence. One breath will bring you into the state, but daily practice rewires the circuits and locks in the coherence. You must understand that your body is always listening, always learning from the instructions you give it through breath and thought. If you breathe shallow and carry random thoughts, your body learns incoherence, and incoherence is exactly what the field reflects back as chaos in life. If you breathe deeply with intention, your body learns order, and the field mirrors that order as harmony and opportunity. This is why I say shift 1 is not optional. It is the foundation of all quantum manifestation, because without coherence no higher shifts can hold. From my years of guiding people across the world, I can tell you with absolute certainty that those who master this first shift begin to see rapid changes, not because the universe suddenly favors them, but because they finally become an aligned signal the field can respond to. Remember, energy is not personal, it is universal law. You cannot broadcast chaos and receive clarity. You cannot hold fear and receive love, but you can retrain your system, breath by breath, intention by intention, into coherence, and once coherence is established, reality organizes around you with remarkable precision. This is the great secret hidden in plain sight. Manifestation is not magic, it is coherent. When your brain waves, your heart rhythm and your intention are synchronized, you become a coherent source of vibration, and the quantum field organizes itself to match your frequency. As Einstein said, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The field is listening to you right now, and every breath, every thought, every intention is either strengthening or scattering your signal. Today you have chosen to strengthen it. So my invitation to you is simple yet powerful. For the next 7 days, practice shift 1 every morning. Begin your day with 5 minutes of focused breathing, slow and intentional, and pair it with one clear intention stated as present reality. Feel it, embody it, and breathe it into coherence. Do not overcomplicate. Do not chase multiple desires. Simply build the neural and energetic signal of one chosen frequency, until your system recognizes it as truth. Watch as your perception shifts, as your biology shifts, as the opportunities that align with your intention begin to emerge. This is not a belief system. This is lived science, lived spirituality, lived quantum reality. And so we close this shift 1 with a call not just to understand, but to embody. Activate brain coherence through focused breathing and clear intention every day. Let this be your foundation. Breathe with purpose, think with clarity, and signal with coherence. In doing so, you become not a seeker of change, but a generator of it. This is the moment where you stop waiting for reality to shift and begin shifting it from within. This is the essence of quantum manifestation, and it begins with you, right now, in this breath. Shift 2 begins with an understanding so simple and yet so profound. Your brain is not a fixed machine. It is a living, adapting, endlessly rewiring system that shapes itself in response to the thoughts you feed it. This is not just spiritual language. This is the science of neuroplasticity. Each thought you repeat strengthens a neural connection. Each image you hold directs the growth of new synaptic pathways, and every consistent pattern you nurture becomes the foundation of who you are. When you understand this, you realize that every moment you think a thought, you are literally sculpting your own brain. Most people live unaware of this immense creative power, recycling old programs of fear, limitation, and doubt, strengthening circuits that no longer serve them. But you have the capacity to redirect this process, to consciously choose thoughts that align with your highest vision, and by repetition install them as your new default state. When I speak of building new neural pathways by repeating aligned, empowering thoughts, I mean this in the most literal sense. Imagine your brain as a landscape of roads. The thoughts you have most often are like highways, smooth and easy to travel because they've been used for years. Empowering thoughts, if they are new to you, may begin as small trails, fragile and uncertain. Yet each time you repeat them, you walk that trail again, strengthening it, clearing the obstacles and eventually carving a new road. Over time, the old road begins to fade as the new one becomes dominant. This is not wishful thinking, it is observable under brain imaging technologies that show synaptic density increasing where attention and repetition are applied. The key is alignment. Not every positive thought is empowering. A thought becomes empowering when it is both believable and resonant with your deeper truth. If you repeat empty affirmations that your nervous system rejects, you create resistance rather than transformation. But if you choose thoughts that are aligned with the reality you are ready to grow into, thoughts that stretch you but do not fracture your trust, then repetition becomes a powerful tool of rewiring. For example, instead of saying "I am infinitely wealthy" when your body and mind reject it, you might begin with "I am building stability every day," or "I trust that opportunities support me now." These thoughts, when chosen consciously, build confidence and gradually expand the field of what your brain perceives as possible. What happens biologically is extraordinary. Repetition of empowering thoughts signals neurons to fire together in new patterns. As the neuroscientist Donald Hebb described decades ago, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is a principle I have seen in practice with countless individuals. People who, through disciplined repetition of aligned thought, shifted the entire trajectory of their lives, because their neural wiring no longer supported the old identity. As new pathways strengthen, old ones weaken. A process known as synaptic pruning, where the brain literally dissolves connections that are no longer you. What this means for you is that every empowering thought you repeat makes the old disempowering thought less accessible, less dominant, and eventually irrelevant. But thought alone is not enough. Thought must be infused with presence and emotional engagement. If you repeat empowering thoughts in a mechanical way, the brain registers them weakly. When you repeat them with full awareness, with emotional charge, with the felt sense that they matter, the imprint is much deeper. The emotional brain, seated in the limbic system, reinforces pathways through the release of neurochemicals that mark an experience as important. This is why aligned, empowering thoughts must be lived, spoken and felt as truth in the moment, even if they are still growing root. Each repetition with emotion is like watering a seed in fertile soil. Now, let us go even deeper into the quantum aspect. Your brain is not only a processor of thought, it is an emitter of frequency. Every repeated thought is not just building a neural pathway, it is generating a consistent electromagnetic signature that the quantum field responds to. When you hold empowering thoughts long enough, you stabilize your frequency. The field around you begins to reorganize because it is attuning to your coherent signal. This is why change feels slow at first and then sudden. At first, you are building the pathway, strengthening the signal, establishing the frequency. Then as coherence builds, the quantum field shifts, and the external world reflects the internal structure. There is a truth I have observed in years of deep work with people. The thoughts you repeat daily are the architecture of your future self. If you repeat thoughts of limitation, your brain wires you into limitation, and the field mirrors it back as limitation. If you repeat thoughts of empowerment, your brain wires you into empowerment, and the field mirrors it back as empowerment. This is universal law, and it does not discriminate. The field responds to the signal without judgment, without delay, without preference. Your responsibility is to choose the signal consciously, repeatedly, and consistently. Let us activate this together now. Close your eyes if you can, and bring to mind one empowering thought that feels aligned with your current journey. It may be as simple as "I am capable of creating change," or "I am worthy of what I seek," or "I trust the process unfolding." Choose one, not many, for focus is the power here. As you inhale, repeat this thought silently in your mind. As you exhale, feel it embedding into your body, as if every cell is listening. Continue for several cycles, allowing the thought to echo, not as an idea floating in your mind, but as a command shaping your biology. Notice how your body responds, perhaps a softening in the chest, perhaps a lightness in the head, perhaps a quiet strength arising. This is not imagination. This is rewiring in progress. What you are doing right now is creating a loop. Thought, emotion, biology, energy. Each loop reinforces the pathway, strengthens the frequency, and stabilizes the signal. The more often you enter this loop with consciousness, the more quickly the new pathway becomes dominant. And when the new pathway is dominant, it is no longer effort. It is identity. This is the real art of manifestation, shifting identity at the neurological level, So the external reality has no choice but to align. There is one quote that encapsulates this power beautifully, from William James, the father of modern psychology. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind. This discovery is alive in you now. You are not a prisoner of old circuits, not a victim of past programming. You are the sculptor of your neural landscape, the architect of your cognitive reality, and the transmitter of your quantum frequency. So here is my invitation. Take this practice into your daily life with seriousness and devotion. Choose one empowering thought each week and repeat it with presence, breath, and emotion at least 3 times a day. Write it, speak it, breathe it, embody it. Let your brain hear it so often that it becomes its default firing pattern. Let your cells receive it so deeply that they reorganize their chemistry to reflect it. Let your field vibrate with it so clearly that reality bends to its signal. This is Shift 2, and it is not theory, it is practice. Build new neural pathways by repeating aligned empowering thoughts until they become who you are. The old self dissolves, the new self stabilizes, and the quantum field responds with precision. Live this, breathe this, embody this, and watch reality shift in ways you once thought impossible. Not because you wished for change, but because you became the change in your brain, your body, your energy, and your field. This is the true science and art of manifestation, and it is yours to live right now. Shift 3 invites us into the deepest realization that access to the quantum field does not come from thinking harder, pushing stronger, or analyzing longer, but from learning how to elevate our MOIM frequency into states that open the gateway between the limited self and the infinite field of possibility. Most people live their lives generating emotions that are low frequency in nature: fear, shame, guilt, resentment, stress, and these emotions create incoherent signals that bind them to predictable outcomes. The quantum field is a field of infinite potential, yet it only responds coherently when you broadcast a coherent frequency. Elevated emotions such as gratitude, love, joy, compassion, and inspiration are not simply pleasant feelings. They are high-frequency signatures that entrain the heart and brain into coherence, producing measurable electromagnetic fields strong enough to influence matter. When you learn to embody elevated emotional states, you unlock a doorway into the quantum field that cannot be accessed through thought alone. From the perspective of neuroscience, emotion is chemistry, but it is also electricity. Every emotional state corresponds to patterns of neural firing and hormonal release that alter the vibrational environment of your body. When you feel gratitude deeply, your brain produces neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, while your heart rate variability increases, signaling coherence in your nervous system. This coherence is measurable, and it produces an electromagnetic signature around your body that is stronger and more ordered than the signature of stress. This field is not confined to your skin. It radiates into space and interacts with the quantum field that connects all things. In other words, your emotions are not private. They are broadcasts. What you hold consistently as an emotional state becomes the frequency of your signal, and the field organizes itself around that signal. From the perspective of epigenetics, these elevated emotions are also signals to your genes. They activate genetic expression for growth, repair, and higher function. Fearful, low-frequency emotions activate survival genes, which shut down creativity and weaken immunity. Elevated emotions activate genes of renewal and expansion, leading your body to literally express a different version of you. So when I say unlock quantum field access through elevated emotional frequency states, I am speaking not in poetry but in biology and physics. The quantum field responds to your vibrational broadcast, and your vibrational broadcast is determined by the emotions you sustain. Many try to manifest from the mind alone, thinking that thoughts without emotion will change reality. But thoughts are the electrical signal, and emotions are the magnetic charge. Together they form the electromagnetic signature that shapes your field. Without elevated emotion, thought has little influence. With elevated emotion, thought becomes supercharged, amplified, and magnetic. Joe Dispenza has said, "The quantum field responds not to what we want, it responds to who we are being." This statement cuts directly to the core. Who you are being is the union of your thoughts and emotion. Elevated emotions shift your being into alignment with the higher potentials of the quantum field. Now let us move into the practical activation. To access these elevated states, you do not need external events. You do not need someone to give you love. You do not need circumstances to give you joy. You do not need achievements to give you gratitude. In fact, waiting for the external is the trap that keeps you bound to the predictable past. The true mastery is generating elevated emotions from within, independent of external conditions. Because when you do so, you are signaling the field that the reality you desire is already true. The body does not distinguish between an emotion generated from an event and an emotion generated from conscious choice. If you choose gratitude now and sustain it, your body believes it is living in a reality worth being grateful for, and the quantum field aligns to reflect that choice. Here is an activation you can practice immediately. Close your eyes and bring your awareness into your heart center. Slow your breathing, allowing your attention to sink from your head into your chest. Now recall a moment, real or imagined, that evokes genuine gratitude. Perhaps it is the smile of someone you love, the beauty of a sunrise, the feeling of safety, or simply the miracle of being alive in this moment. Do not analyze. Feel. As the gratitude builds, allow it to expand beyond your chest, radiating through your body. Let your entire being vibrate with this elevated frequency. Now add a thought aligned with the reality you desire. Perhaps the thought is, I am supported in every step, or I am creating abundance with ease. As you hold this thought in the field of gratitude, notice the union, electricity of thought, magnetism of emotion, coherence of being. This is the signal the quantum field receives. The longer you can sustain this elevated state, the more powerful the signal becomes. It is not about intensity, but consistency. 5 minutes daily of elevated emotion practiced with sincerity can transform your frequency more than hours of scattered wishing. Over time, your body learns this state, memorizes it, and carries it as its new baseline. This is when manifestation accelerates, because the field is consistently receiving the same coherent signal, and reality cannot help but shift to match it. From the lens of quantum physics, elevated emotions tune you into higher frequencies of reality. Imagine the quantum field as a vast spectrum of radio stations. Fear tunes you into one band. Love tunes you into another. Both bands exist, but your experience depends on the station you are tuned into. Elevated emotions tune your energy into higher bands of possibility. You do not need to force outcomes. You only need to maintain the state that matches the outcome. This is why gratitude, love, and joy are so powerful. They are universal attractors, frequencies that align with growth, expansion, and coherence across all levels of reality. I want you to truly feel the significance of this. Your emotions are not small, not trivial, not private. They are the levers by which you shift reality. When you master your emotional frequency, you master your access to the quantum field. When you elevate consistently, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the past, because the field organizes not by your history but by your current signal. This is why transformation can be immediate, why shifts can appear miraculous. Because the moment your signal changes, the field responds instantly, even if the material expression takes time to unfold. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This is the essence of shift through. Your elevated emotions are frequency. Your sustained state is vibration, and through them you unlock the secrets of manifestation, not as a theory but as a living experience. So here is my call to you. Devote yourself daily to practicing elevated emotion, not as a temporary mood booster but as a discipline of frequency mastery. Choose gratitude when nothing outside gives you a reason. Choose love when fear would be easier. Choose joy when circumstances feel uncertain. Each time you do, you are tuning your instrument to the frequency of the quantum field, and you are opening access to realities beyond what you have known. This is not pretending. This is creating. You are signaling the field of infinite potential that you are ready for alignment, coherence, and expansion. Unlock quantum field access through elevated emotional frequency states, and you will discover that reality bends not by force but by resonance. Elevate your emotion, elevate your frequency, elevate your life. This is the science and the mystery, the biology and the spirit, the truth that is now yours to live. Shift 4 invites you into a level of embodiment where the mind, body, and cells themselves participate in the creation of reality. Because manifestation is not simply a mental exercise, it is a biological process. Your cells are not passive. They are dynamic receivers and transmitters of information, constantly reading the biochemical and electromagnetic signals generated by your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. When you visualize outcomes with embodied certainty, you are speaking directly to the language of your cells, instructing them to express the physiology, chemistry, and structural patterns that align with the reality you intend to create. This is not metaphor, this is measurable epigenetics and cellular biology. When a thought is combined with a physiological state that mirrors its reality, the cells respond by activating genes consistent with that experience, producing proteins, enzymes, and neurotransmitters that literally construct the body to reflect the internal vision. Visualization is often misunderstood as imagining a scenario like a movie in your mind, but true visualization for cellular expression requires sensory engagement and emotional certainty. The more real you make the experience for your body, the more the body perceives it as actual, triggering adaptive processes to bring it into materialization. For instance, imagining yourself healthy while feeling the vitality of health in every cell sends signals that alter cellular metabolism, enhance mitochondrial efficiency, and optimize neurochemical balance. This is why elite performers, top athletes, and pioneers in healing all employ visualization as a foundational practice. Not because it is wishful thinking, but because it is a direct conversation with the biology of creation. Epigenetics demonstrates that gene expression is context-dependent, meaning that cells turn on and off specific genes in response to signals from the environment and internal physiology. Thoughts, when paired with bodily states, act as these signals. A consistent embodied visualization sends a coherent signal to the cellular environment, telling it which genes to express. Bruce Lipton famously said, "The moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the genetic code." And this is literal. Each visualization, each act of embodied certainty, is rewriting your biology at the most fundamental level, shifting your expression from limitation to possibility. Your cells do not respond to doubt. They respond to clarity, confidence, and physiological congruence. To embody this fully, it is essential to integrate the three pillars of cognition, emotion, and physiology. First, clarify the outcome you intend to manifest. Not vaguely, not hypothetically, but with specific sensory detail. Second, generate the emotional signature that matches this outcome, the certainty that it is not only possible but inevitable. Third, engage the body so that posture, breath, and subtle muscle activation reflect the internal reality. When all three pillars are aligned, cellular systems receive an unambiguous directive, and adaptation occurs naturally. Your cells recognize coherence, respond to it, and structure themselves accordingly. The nervous system acts as the bridge between visualization and cellular expression. The brain communicates with the body through both chemical messengers and bioelectrical signals. When you visualize with certainty, the brain fires neural patterns identical to those that would occur if the event were actually happening. These neural firings instruct the autonomic system and immune system to produce physiological conditions consistent with the visualization. Essentially, you are training your biology to live in the reality you desire before it manifests externally. This accelerates transformation because the internal environment is already aligned to support the external outcome. One practical activation is to choose a specific outcome and spend several minutes daily in fully embodied visualization. Close your eyes and see the reality as if it is already complete. Engage all senses. Feel textures, hear sounds, smell the environment, taste the air. Pair this with the emotional certainty that it is happening now and the subtle physiological cues, softening the jaw, relaxing the shoulders, grounding into your feet. Allow your heart rate to synchronize with the elevated state of your visualization. Observe as your cells respond, your breath deepens, your posture reflects the reality. This is not mental exercise alone. It is a full-body conversation with your biology, creating a template that the universe can mirror. The power of repeated practice compounds exponentially. Each day you embody a visualization with certainty. You strengthen the cellular memory of that state. Neural pathways become established, hormonal systems become calibrated, and biofield resonance aligns with the frequency of the desired outcome. Over time, the new state becomes your baseline, no longer requiring conscious effort to maintain. Your body and cells have been trained to express the reality you intended, and external circumstances follow suit. This is the essence of quantum embodiment. Reality shifts because your biological system already inhabits it. It is important to note that doubt, hesitation, or fragmented attention disrupt cellular coherence. Cells respond to signals of uncertainty just as readily as signals of clarity, and incoherence can prevent the manifestation of desired outcomes. Therefore, consistency in embodied visualization is crucial. Even brief daily sessions are more potent than sporadic, intensive efforts, because repetition reinforces cellular memory and deepens the alignment of physiology, emotion, and thought. Over time, the alignment becomes automatic, the signal unwavering, and the field responds with greater precision. The visualization also impacts the electromagnetic field surrounding your body. Your biofield, shaped by both physiological and emotional coherence, extends several feet beyond your physical form and interacts with the quantum field of possibilities. When your cells are aligned and your emotional state is congruent with your vision, your biofield resonates at a frequency that attracts matching events, people, and circumstances. In this way, cellular expression is not contained. It radiates outward, influencing the organization of matter and energy around you. The body becomes both the receiver and transmitter of the reality you are choosing to live. In practice, this means that as you visualize, your body must feel, see, hear, and inhabit the desired outcome. You must act as if the reality is already true. Small gestures, posture, micro movements, and even subtle shifts in breathing patterns reinforce the cellular memory and biofield resonance. The nervous system encodes these patterns, ensuring that both conscious and subconscious layers of your being carry the blueprint forward. Over time, this alignment produces tangible shifts, from the micro level of cellular health to the macro level of life circumstances. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." This encapsulates the power of shift forward. The heart is not merely symbolic. It is an organ of intelligence, a center of electromagnetic influence, and a gateway for coherent manifestation. When visualizing is heart-centered and embodied, it engages the full spectrum of your being, harmonizing mind, body, and energy into a unified field capable of creating profound change. The embodiment of visualizing requires discipline, but it is not rigid or forced. It is a practice of presence, integration, and trust in the intelligence of your own body. Each session, each moment of certainty, is a transmission that rewires your nervous system, tunes your biofield, and instructs your cell. Over weeks and months, these consistent practices each your default state from reactive to creative, from waiting to generating, and from limited perception to expanded reality. Your cells are listening, your nervous system is responding, and your biofield is broadcast. The more you inhabit the outcome with certainty, the more the quantum field organizes to match the internal coherence you have established. This is not hypothetical. This is neurobiology, epigenetics, and quantum mechanics integrated into a practical methodology. By shifting cellular expression through embodied visualization, you align yourself with a reality that is no longer aspirational. It is already being constructed from the inside out. Now let your focus settle on the reality you wish to create. Allow your body to feel it fully. Let every cell resonate with certainty. Let your breath, posture, and subtle movements reflect that reality. Sustain this as a daily practice, not as an idea, but as a biological signal that cannot be ignored. As you do, watch as external reality bends to the blueprint you are broadcasting, and recognize that the power to create has always resided within the precise alignment of mind, body, and cellular intelligence. This is the profound potential of Shift 4, and it is available to you now. Shift 5 brings us to the culmination of the quantum manifestation process, where the practice of daily alignment transforms from technique into lifestyle, and the body, mind, and energy fields synchronize continuously with the present moment. Gratitude is not simply an emotion or a polite reflection. It is a measurable frequency that restructures neural activity, stabilizes the nervous system, and elevates the vibrational signature of the body. When combined with intentional movement, this practice integrates the neurological, physiological, and energetic layers of your being, allowing manifestation to become effortless rather than forced. Each gesture, each posture, each breath anchored in awareness reinforces the body's memory of coherence, transforming ordinary moments into portals for creation. Present awareness is not mindfulness in a passive sense. It is an active engagement with the reality you are generating, a full-body acknowledgement of your existence and the signals you are transmitting. The nervous system responds to this presence by reducing cortisol production, increasing parasympathetic activation, and enhancing neuroplasticity, which means your brain is now learning to maintain elevated states as a default rather than an exception. When you practice gratitude through movement, the body itself becomes a vessel for signal amplification. Walking, stretching, gentle yoga, or conscious motion, while acknowledging what you are grateful for, is not just physical exercise. It is a coherent broadcast into the quantum field. Each movement aligns muscular, skeletal, and fascial systems with the emotional and mental intention, creating a resonance that the field recognizes. Epigenetics shows us that repeated coherent signals like these influence gene expression toward states of resilience, vitality, and adaptability. Your body is not separate from your intention. It is a living conduit that interprets and amplifies the signal. Over time, this practice ingrains a baseline of alignment that persists even when conscious attention falters. because the cellular memory retains the coherence you generate. Present awareness functions as the navigational system for your daily alignment. When you consciously observe your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without judgment, you create the capacity to detect misalignment in real time. You begin to notice the subtle signals your body and energy field send when you drift into incoherence, and you can course correct immediately. This is practical quantum intelligence. You are constantly calibrating your internal state to match the reality you intend to live. Attention is the currency of the quantum field. Where your awareness is focused, energy flows, and the field begins to respond. The more you practice present awareness, the more your internal state becomes consistent, stable, and capable of sustaining high-frequency signals without fatigue or external validation. Integration is amplified when gratitude is expressed through multiple modalities. Mental acknowledgement alone is powerful, but when paired with breath movement or tactile engagement, the signal becomes multidimensional. For example, as you inhale, visualize and feel the aspects of your life you are grateful for. As you exhale, allow that energy to radiate through your body and into your biofield. Each step, each stretch, each intentional gesture becomes a neuron-to-cell-to-field feedback loop that reinforces coherence. This repetition creates an embodied template that your physiology, neurology, and energy system can inhabit automatically. The field receives not only a signal of desire, but a signal of alignment, stability, and readiness to receive. This is why manifestation becomes effortless when alignment is fully integrated. It is no longer about trying to force outcomes. It is about inhabiting a frequency that naturally organizes reality around it. Daily alignment also rewires habitual patterns of attention and reactivity. When you anchor yourself in gratitude and present awareness, you disrupt automatic stress responses and default negativity loops. The amygdala calms, prefrontal cortical activity strengthens, and neural pathways associated with resilience, creativity, and higher perception are reinforced. You begin to notice how your external circumstances mirror your internal state with increasing fidelity because your energy, frequency, and attention have become coherent instruments for creation. In other words, the consistency of your internal practice directly shapes the consistency of external manifestation. The body, brain, and field become a single orchestrated system, each layer reinforcing the other. From the perspective of quantum physics, each intentional coherent action, movement, and thought sends ripples into the field that extend far beyond immediate perception. The quantum field does not differentiate between small gestures and large efforts. It responds to frequency, clarity, and coherence. By combining gratitude with present awareness in daily practice, you create a continuous high-frequency broadcast that organizes probability fields toward the realities you desire. Over weeks and months, the repeated engagement in this practice establishes what can be called a vibrational momentum. The system of your mind, body, and energy field continues to align even in moments when conscious effort wanes, because the coherence has become structural. This is how daily alignment moves beyond technique into lifestyle and embodiment. You may also notice subtle shifts in perception. People, opportunities, and circumstances begin to appear that were previously invisible. Timing seems synchronistic, and intuitive knowing increases. These are not coincidences. They are the natural consequence of a coherent frequency interacting with the infinite possibilities of the quantum field. Your daily practice of gratitude and awareness creates the stability for these opportunities to manifest, because the field organizes in response to sustained, coherent energy rather than random thought or scattered desire. Over time, your life begins to reflect not only the intentions you consciously hold, but also the integrated state of your being. To fully integrate this practice, dedicate specific windows each day to movement paired with awareness and gratitude. Even 5 to 10 minutes, if executed with presence, can recalibrate your nervous system, energize your cells, and stabilize your biofield. Begin by centering yourself in breath, allowing gratitude to rise naturally, and translating that into motion, an expansive stretch, a slow walk, or any gesture that carries the feeling of appreciation through the body. Allow each movement to become an expression of consciousness, a signal of alignment, and a template for how your body inhabits reality. Over time, this daily alignment becomes automatic, seamless, and deeply embodied. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi once said, "Happiness is your birthright and it is available to you only when you are living in the present moment." This encapsulates the essence of Shift 5, because gratitude and movement anchor you in the now, allowing your energy, frequency, and nervous system to resonate with the highest possibility. By practicing daily alignment, you claim that birthright consciously, embedding it in physiology, neural structure, and vibrational fields simultaneously. Your life begins to reflect the effortless abundance, clarity, and coherence that your practice generates internally. The extraordinary aspect of this practice is that it integrates all previous shifts seamlessly. The neural coherence of shift 1, the empowering pathways of shift 2, the elevated emotional frequencies of shift 3, and the embodied cellular visualization of shift 4, all converge in daily alignment. Gratitude, movement, and present awareness become the vessel that sustains these shifts, turning temporary insights into permanent structural changes within the mind, body, and field. Each day you engage in this practice, the alignment deepens, the frequency strengthens, and manifestation becomes not just possible but inevitable. Now allow yourself to feel the power of daily alignment. Place your attention on your breath, move with conscious intention, and bring to mind aspects of your life for which you are genuinely grateful. Observe how your body responds, notice how your energy shifts, and allow awareness to anchor you in the present moment. Each motion, each inhalation, each acknowledgement strengthens neural pathways, stabilizes emotional patterns, and aligns your biofield with the quantum field. Over time, this integration becomes effortless, natural, and embodied, producing a life that mirrors the coherence you cultivate from within. By committing to daily alignment through gratitude, movement, and present awareness, you are no longer a passive participant in your reality. You are the conscious conductor of your physiology, energy, and environment, orchestrating a field of possibility into tangible outcomes. The moment becomes your instrument, the body your amplifier, and consciousness the guiding signal. This is the culmination of quantum manifestation, the living, breathing, integrated practice that transforms potential into reality, and it is accessible to you now.